In previous lecture, we have seen how to install Jenkins. Before adding our Maven build server as a slave to Jenkins server, we need to do some configurations. Okay, for that one, first go to manage Jenkins and we need to check out whether all the plugins are available to add our Maven as a slave system for this one. For that one, let's go to available tab and search for Maven. I don't think so Maven plugin has been installed during our default setup. So we need to install Maven Invoker plugin, even Maven integration plugin also I'm selecting it and install without restart. Alright, we have installed Maven Invoker plugin. Go back to dashboard, again manage Jenkins. Let's go and check what and all installed plugins are there. Basically we need GitHub. Okay, we need GitHub plugin. I think GitHub plugin is already installed. Okay, now we are going to add our Maven build server as a slave to this Jenkins server. For that, just go to manage Jenkins and here we have manage nodes and clouds. So here we are going to add a new node. So our node name I'm going to give Maven build server. Okay, because it is a Maven server, just naming it as a Maven build server, or else we can give slave, whatever name is convenient for you, and it is a permanent agent. Next, and here the name is Maven build server. Let it be the description, and executors, nothing but how many jobs can it run parallelly. I'm going to give 5. By default, if you see on your master node, you can execute 2 jobs at a time. Here I just given 5. And remote root directory, we should have a remote root directory. So to provide this one, we need to create a separate user for on Maven system. That is a best practice. So here this is Maven server, right? If I go to cat/etc password, which tells that how many users are there, we just have only one user, that is ec2 minus user. I'm going to add one more user, that name is Jenkins. So user add Jenkins. Okay, we are adding a user called Jenkins, and let's set up the password for Jenkins. Jenkins at 123, and same I am giving. All right, so I have given the password, and one more thing is we need to add this user to the sudoers file. Okay, this is the sudoers file. Here we need to add our Jenkins server to the sudoers file. For that, go to Shift G, nothing but capital G, which means that it will go to the end of the file. And we are going to add under root, okay, Jenkins, and we are going to add this one, okay, which means that whenever we execute any admin command, don't ask the password. That is the meaning of this one. So we have created a user called Jenkins and added him as a admin. Now another thing is we need to enable the password based authentication. Okay, so for password based authentication we just need to edit /etc/sshd underscore config. By default EC2 instance doesn't comes with the password based authentication, so just edit this one and search for password, okay, which goes to the password authentication. We should enable this one. So by default it will be commented it out, so just remove the comment, and there is one more entry with the same password authentication which specifies the no. We need to comment this one, so I just removed the comment in this lane and added over here. That's it. Once this is done, we just need to refresh the sshd service sshd reload. Okay, sorry, service sshd reload, which means that we have enabled password based authentication on the Maven server. Now we can use Jenkins server to connect with the Maven. Now let's go and add this Maven server as a slave to our Jenkins server. So go back and remote root directory, I'm going to give /home/Jenkins. That is the default Jenkins home directory. You can go and check it out over here, pwd. So let me switch as a Jenkins user. Okay, pwd, if I do, I am under /home Jenkins directory. Okay, this is the path we have given, which means that it will be useful as a workspace directory. Next to labels, no need to provide labels, which means that in case anything with that name, it is going to take by this agent, something like that. Next to usage, all this stuff is not needed. Next thing is launch agent by connecting to the master, launch agent via execution of the command on the master, or else launch agent via SSH. So usually we will choose this option, okay, which will generate few files, JPNL files we need to execute on the client side. But as a quick process, I'm going to use the launch agent via SSH, and here host name, nothing but the server name of the remote host, which means that our Maven system. Let me get the IP address of our Maven system. Here I'm going to use the private IP because both are in the same VPC. If you don't know VPC, which means that it is like a same data center, so it will connect with the private IP address. We don't need to provide the public IP. So I'm just giving the IP address. Next, credentials. We just created Jenkins user, right? Those credentials we should add over here. Add Jenkins, and here username and password we are providing. What is the username? That is Jenkins. Password also Jenkins at 123, and I'm giving ID also Jenkins, and description no need. Okay, hopefully I have given the right password, and select the Jenkins. Okay, so we have given the Jenkins credentials, and one last thing we need to do, that is non-verify host. It should be non-verifying verification strategy. Okay, save this one, and we could able to connect to our slave system. So let's open this one and see the logs. Okay, it is trying to connect to our remote system. Yes, you can see agent successfully connected, which means that it has been registered. I mean to say our Maven server has been registered as a agent to this system. And once this is done, you cannot see any red cross mark over here, which could able to connect, and it should able to gather the information about our Maven build server. All right, so that's all for this lecture. In next lecture, I'm going to show you how can we execute a build on the remote system. I mean to say Maven build system by using the Jenkins. This is how in the real world we are going to use the build servers. That's all for this lecture, and see you in the next lecture. Thanks for watching.